Cool. Right, so let's get started. So welcome to today's masterclass. For those of you who don't know me, I am Cheryl Sharp, the CEO and founder of Pink Pig Financials, and I'm going to be hosting today's masterclass. So we're going to start with a quote from Simon Sinek. The courage of leadership is giving others the chance to succeed, even though you bear the responsibility for getting things done. So it's really important to remember that the responsibility and the doing are not the same thing. So you are responsible as a leader, but you should be empowering your team to do the bulk of the work. So before we get stuck in, I just want to throw in our usual disclaimer that the information in this educational webinar is general in nature and no substitute for tailored advice specific to your particular circumstances. So let's look at today's agenda. We'll look at important leadership roadblocks. We'll look at the essentials for great leadership and some key leadership lessons. We'll also cover some powerful mindsets to help you to inspire and engage your team, to identify processes and rhythms that you can implement to improve your leadership in your business, and review a really powerful tool that you can use to assess your leadership skills. So I will be making the tool available, and I'll be sending it out with a copy of I'll be sending it out to everybody with a copy of the recording. And obviously we'll do next steps and a Q&A at the end. But if you want to pop any messages in the chat as we go along, then please feel free to. So let's get started with leadership roadblocks. And I've just realised that the slides are a little bit slow. I had this the other day. I'm really hoping, oh, there it is. Cool. So these are some of the most common leadership roadblocks. Often as leaders, we point the finger or lay the blame at others for poor performance. But in reality, and as confronting as it may be, it's that we need to look in the mirror and review our own leadership. After all, we can only control our own behaviour. So some of this is going to be confronting, so I don't mean to be, but so yeah, just bear with me. We're all going to have some improvement opportunities today, and a key attribute of a great leader is recognising when one can do better. So with an open mind and positive change, positive change is more likely to happen. So here are some of the roadblocks that I've had, and I see the majority of our clients and people that I speak to. So first of all, we've not had any formal leadership training. Most of us have fallen into leadership roles, and leadership skills can and obviously must be learned. So that learning, it just never stops. You're going to continue learning as you go along. There's a lack of clarity and or alignment. So often there's no clear documented and shared plan. And without that, there can be a lack of alignment between business owners and team members, being unclear on what the role is and the career goals and how they fit into the business goals. Poor communication, so there may be a plan, but if it's not widely shared or reported against, it's unlikely to be implemented. Business purpose and values are not articulated or lived into, so obviously knowing why your business exists and what values you operate under, that provides a clear framework for team success. So we have core behaviours and core values that drive our behaviour as a team. One of ours is simplicity, so trying to make things as simple as possible for our clients, A, so that they understand, but B, to make their lives as simple as possible. So our team know this, and they act accordingly at all times. And I know a couple of times the team has called me out and said, like, this needs to be more simple. And I totally agree. So it's really great having those values, and living alongside them will help push your team forward. And then lastly, an us and a them attitude. So leadership is about the owners and the team working side by side to produce the outcomes that the individuals could not achieve on their own. So businesses with an us and a them attitude will have a higher turnover, low job satisfaction, and of course poor results. So let's flip those roadblocks on their head and be a bit more positive now. So what can we consider as we go through our leadership journey? What are the essentials of great leadership and the building blocks and the framework that you need to have in place? So first of all, having that plan and vision, it sets out where you want to go as a business with specific goals and actions for the next 90 days and clarity on your annual goals. So this plan is not a static document, and you should refer to it often and update it quarterly. And then share it with the team. So your plan should be shared regularly in team meetings. Don't leave it in the bottom drawer. And I know sometimes I've even been guilty of that, and I've not shared enough with the team. And I am learning that it comes from a place of, we've all been there, it's us, it's our baby, it's just us on our own, and now you've got to get used to keep sharing and updating everybody on everything. You don't need to keep it all up in your own head. Great leadership is also about taking your team on a journey. So if they know what your goals are, they can match theirs to yours, and this will then increase the energy and motivation for everybody. Putting accountability in place with reporting and meetings. So by this, I mean reporting and meetings, obviously not a carrot and stick. So traditional view on accountability is you set targets and expectations, KPIs, key performance indicators, and then if a team member doesn't hit them, there are consequences, i.e. no bonus, no performance management, or sorry, no bonus or performance management. But it's far more effective to simply report against the targets and meet regularly to discuss them and enable the team members to get clearer on the expectations and learn how to self-monitor their own performance. So as well as better communication, their own roadblocks to you. Inspiring the team, obviously. Think about the most charismatic leaders in the world. Their actions and their behaviours inspire others to change, evolve, and become better versions of themselves. So start aligning yourself with those leaders today to inspire your team. I actually flipped that one on the head when I first started started growing my team. I looked at who I didn't like and flipped that on its head to do what I did like. So if you're not sure where to start, maybe start there. Think of an old boss that you've had and what you didn't like about them and how you could do it differently. And then lastly, you've got walk the walk. So walk the talk even. So obviously walking the talk is perhaps the most important point. Do as I do, as opposed to the very outdated motto, do as I say. So now we're clearer on the roadblocks to great team performance and the foundations for great leadership. It's time to share some of the leadership lessons that I've learned over the last few years. So there are many, many books and articles written on this topic. So I'm sure there's many things you can do to look up and read and everything. One in the accounting space actually that I really do rate is Simon. I love kind of complete blank. Socks Up Simon, can't think of his surname right now, but I'll find it in a minute. If anyone wants to know, I shall send you the details, but I've had a complete blank on what it is. But it's really, really good for team and putting in KPIs and how to manage and everything. But anyway, I'm digressing, sorry. So our top leadership lessons can be remembered by the acronym Just For Me, as they're all things that as a leader you can control. So first up, just do it, or JDI for short, JDFI if you want to have the emphasis. But it's so often that we fail to implement ideas because things get in the way. So JDI reminds us to just get out of our own way and get over our limiting beliefs and just be the leader that we can be. Next up, we've got united vision and values. So your vision is where you want to take the business. Your values are the filters through which you determine your behaviour. And then when the entire team is aligned on vision and values, you create a strong workplace, a strong culture, and an environment for continuous improvement. So having that united vision and values is a cornerstone of great leadership. Excuse me. Safety. Now, this is a really important one. So neuroscience researchers argue that humans did not evolve to be consistently happy, but primarily to survive and reproduce. And as leaders, our role is to ensure that our team is safe and that we are safe, both emotionally and physically. So what are you doing to improve your team's emotional and physical safety right now? And what could you do more on? Teamwork and trust. So the well-known acronym for team, together everyone achieves more. And that is really important as a leader. So surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in different ways, and then you can use that collective expertise to bring the results that you can achieve just on your own. And hey, that's why we have a team, yeah, to help us to grow and do all the things that we can't do. That's why you go for different skill sets. Building a culture of trust by practicing what you teach, living into your core values, and doing what you do, or what you say you'll do. And then moving on to the next section, so you've got focus. So once we have a clear idea, the vision and the plan, and we've shared it with the team, we can then all focus on our individual contribution. And that plan helps us to identify the 2 to 3 most important activities each of us need to work on and the results we expect to receive. And that helps us to establish what a great day's work looks like for each of us. Opportunity. Every challenge or difficult situation presents us with an opportunity to do better. So, for example, if we've got an underperforming team member, we have the opportunity to support them and to remove any barriers of them operating better. And if we can't achieve alignment or improve results, the ability to open the door of opportunities for them. So it can't be nice for them either if it's not working. If it's not working for us, it's probably not working for them either. Then you've got resilience, and I can't even say this word, resilience and resourcefulness. So resilience is the capacity to recover quickly. Sorry, I've completely lost my place now and my nose. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, and resourcefulness is the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. And as a leader, it's your job to build that resilience for both yourself and your team, and at the same time to use your team as your primary resource to overcome difficult situations. Then you've got mindset, and obviously that opens up a whole kind of worms, but basically your mindset is the attitude you bring to your role. So you may have an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset. And when we go into mindsets in more detail, this is one of the ones we're going to cover. And then lastly, empathy and energy. So our last lesson is perhaps the most important. So empathy is the ability to see things from another person's perspective and be prepared to do something about it. So, for example, if someone is struggling to do their job, an empathetic leader will first seek to understand why the team member is struggling, and then to offer the support and training needed, as opposed to complaining about their performance to others. So there may be valid reasons why the team member is not performing, and increasing our empathy for others and living into these leadership lessons increases energy across the whole team and the business. So think how energized you feel when things are going well, and let's use all of these lessons as a way to build energy across the business so that we can get improved results for everybody. So your mindset is the attitude that you bring to work. So having the right mindset is a very important leadership lesson. And I know sometimes it's hard to bring the right mindset to work, especially when you've had a rubbish night's sleep or whatever. But I'm going to share some important mindsets now. I'm going to share 5 mindsets that can help you. Of course, there are loads more that I can share with you. So choosing just 5 was actually really tough. But we use these and many more mindsets when working with clients, especially when we're doing coaching things and facilitating various planning meetings. And they provide a framework for better thinking, or can be used as tools to share with your team and get better results. So if I take you through the first one. So as I said before, I mentioned briefly before the scarcity and abundance mindset. And this really is a must for all leaders, as it enables you to get the best from your team. So to go through them both, a scarcity mentality starts from a place of distrust, with leaders neglecting the team and believing that there's no way the team would do the job as well as they could. So these leaders are skeptical and frustrated. They're criticising the team, creating stress throughout the business. They'll be distracted from their own work as they fail to delegate, and they're going to cause bottlenecks. And obviously this results then in mediocrity and poor results. But on the other hand, an abundance mentality comes from a place of trust, appreciating and respecting the team and having the confidence in them to get the job done and to do it well. An abundance mindset also encourages development among the team, which contributes again to better engagement, job satisfaction, and of course, overall loyalty. So this all leads to improved delegation and focus. So the leader can prioritize making quality decisions, ultimately leading to success and positive outcomes, which is what we all want. So leaders with an abundant mindset believe that if the team wins, then they'll win too. And then we come on to orbit, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. And I learned this very, very early on. And actually I was just like, whoa, mind blown. Oh, it's so obvious. But so until we told it, I don't think we really see it. Probably one of the most powerful business models ever written. And it's also one of the easiest ways to transform your business's culture and your team performance. So when acting above the line, excuse the dog, if you just heard her, there's clearly a squirrel in the garden that she has to go and make friends with. So when acting above the line, I take ownership. She's a nightmare. I blame my husband because he tries to make friends with everything. Just gonna shut the door. Sorry. So when acting above the line, we take ownership, accountability, and responsibility for our actions. But when we're below the line, we're lying in bed and we blame others, we make excuses, and we deny involvement or responsibility. So as a leader, it's particularly essential to act above the line. Leaders must also clearly articulate expectations for the team to act above the line. And there's no hierarchy with the orbit mindset either. So your team should be comfortable with calling you out for acting below the line, as well as holding each other accountable to above the line behaviour. So let's consider an example where the line behaviour, where above the line behaviour has impacted business outcomes. So let's say a deadline is missed. Would you want your team to blame others or technology, make excuses about not having enough time or information, or deny knowledge of the deadline? Or should they take ownership of their actions, hold themselves accountable, and take responsibility for fixing the issue? When acting above the line, your team is more inclined to work together to find a solution, acting as a safety net for each other rather than throwing each other under the bus. Issues resolve faster, less rework occurs, broken processes get found and fixed, and implementing a plan is easier. And we always see that something going wrong is an opportunity for us to improve. So I'd like to say that we take ownership and we deal with it and learn from it. Yeah, I love all that. The next one up is the golden circle. And this is all about defining living into your purpose. So your purpose is why your business exists for your clients. Most businesses would first describe what it is that they do, followed by how they do it. They often fail, though, to tell or even just talk about in general why the business exists for their customers. So it's important to communicate this from the inside out, building that emotional connection with customers. So how would you describe your why or your purpose? And this should be a short sentence defining why you exist for customers. And then when you've got that clear purpose, your team understands, and it's much easier to achieve working together and that alignment of thinking. So for us, our purpose is to help our clients to do the things they love with the people they love, which for us, it means making things simple, finding out what the goals are so that we can help them reach them, and just basically taking that stress and headache away to help them move towards the 3 freedoms. So when our team live into that purpose, which they do, obviously, then we can provide a greater success to our clients and to our team as well. And then you can also go on and talk about the how, your unique selling points or your brand promise, for example. And then when the customers understand your why and your how, you can then discuss the what, the products or services that you achieve. The products or services you offer to achieve your why. Then the 4th lesson we're going to cover is the 4 leadership quadrants. And this helps us to achieve better results across the entire business. So it's a reminder of having a clearly defined vision and goals across the team and how that brings energy to our work. So the first quadrant is vision, and your vision comes from your business plan or your strategic plan. And this is the future state of your business. So you'll have a vision for your business and a vision for each of your team members. The second quadrant is energy. How much energy do you bring to your business when you walk into the door or you join a call or however you work? Energy levels are infectious. So if you've got a low level of energy, then your team will respond with low energy too. So ensuring that you bring that positive energy every time you walk through the door, that will help to inspire, or join the video call, obviously, and that will help to inspire and motivate your team. So fake it until you become it if you have to, but trying to bring that energy. And it's something that I know it's not easy. I know I try and do it for every team meeting, and sometimes I just don't hit that mark, but I'd like to think the majority of the time I do. Third quadrant is focus, and this ensures that your team understands the purpose of their role, what they know, that they then can know when they're having a good day at work, and that all their outputs are helping the team to achieve their overall vision. So think about your objectives and the way the team communicates and how you structure your meetings. So with better focus and planning, we can maximize the outcomes. And then we've got the 4th and last quadrant, which is empowerment. And as leaders, we need to empower our team, training and supporting them to do a good job, obviously, giving both constructive and positive feedback, and then delegating to them without dictating how they meet the objective or abdicating responsibility for the outcome. True delegation requires a clear handover of the process, but while also encouraging improvement ideas and taking overall responsibility for that outcome. And obviously, it's a fabulous way to reduce bottlenecks in your business and empower your team as well. Okay. So the final mindset I'm going to cover today is all about aligning your team members' goals with your business goals and creating that way forward for your team. So first of all, determine where your business is now. And you need to be really honest with this one. So what is your current financial position? How many hours are you working? What is your current role? What is the value of your business? And then establish your future vision for the business. So say in 5 years' time, what do you want your financial position to be? How many hours or days do you want to be working each week? What does your role look like? That's one that's really important to do, to understand what you want to be doing in your business. And there's no right answer to that. It's what you personally want. And also you want to also have in your mind an idea of what the value of your business is going to be. And then you can set a plan from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. And I'm probably doing it the wrong way on the screen, but that's right for me. So then you can identify the projects that you're going to undertake and the actions to complete the projects. You can set those key performance indicators and establish a reporting framework to monitor your progress. And then you can engage somebody to hold you accountable to help you reach your future vision. Following that same process with your team, identifying where each team member is now, where they want to be in the future, and implementing that plan to help them get there is going to make sure that their plan and their vision fits in with the business vision. So that wraps up our top 5 leadership mindsets. I've got plenty others, so if you ever want to have a chat about any mindsets, then let me know. Oh, so I'm going to move on to the next part now. So obviously we know what the top leadership lessons are and the leadership mindset. So I'm going to get to the practical stuff now. So what can you do to embed better leadership into your working practice and your working day? So first off, we've got the 10 hats organization structure. So no matter what size of business you've got, whether it's just you on your own or a team of hundreds, there are 10 hats that need to be worn in a business. So you've got the shareholder or the owner hat, the director hat, and then the leadership hat. And those 3 all fall under the business strategy. And then you've got your operational hats. So you've got the product or service development, marketing, sales, operations, finance, HR, and then the admin and tech hats. So our clients typically get better results when they define which hats they want to wear. So when we said about defining your role, which of those do you want to do? And then what could you ask other team members to do, or what team members do you need to bring in to do? So for example, you can outsource the marketing, which we do, the finance, obviously our clients do because they come to us, or the tech hats even, because that's one that is quite easy to outsource as well, and that they all help to free up time. Likewise, you may get better results by having somebody else to actually lead the operations of your business. I think there's some very famous founders of businesses out there that have actually appointed other CEOs and they do other roles. I think, is it Ben Francis is one of them from Gymshark? He actually brought in a CEO and he's the marketing director, but he's still the founder of the business. So it's leaning into your strengths and obviously doing what you love to do. Next up, we've got clearly defined job descriptions. So it's crucial that all team members are clear on their individual roles and have a clearly defined job description with key tasks and key performance indicators. And that's, again, a really good way for them to define what a great day's work is for everybody on the team. And then this one you can adapt and review to what works for you, but generally a minimum of a 6-month performance review and goal setting. So again, we've got templates to help you with performance reviews and goal setting. We're trying out a few different things at the moment with different people to find what works for us. So again, see what happens and what works best for you. But doing the catch-ups regularly and having those reviews is a really positive process. So it's not something that you should do with just poorly performing members of the team, because that can then be very negative, and it could also be damaging, and your top performers get overlooked. So it needs to be across the board. Meetings and reporting rhythms. So meetings without reporting are a waste of time. That's a bit of a grey area. So there needs to be clarity around them, but whether they become, so either if they become a meeting and discovery when the information is provided at the time, or the team is left in the dark, it depends what the meetings are for and what you're going to, but basically making sure that you've got that structure in place, so that rhythm. So for example, directors should meet monthly to review the business performance. Operation team may only need 10-minute toolbox with no reporting. It all depends on what the department is, how many people you've got, and what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day, but finding what works for you is what's key. Again, sorry, I've just gone completely ahead and off my notes completely there. And then we've got atomic leadership habits. So pulling this all together to create new and better habits. So these may be new leadership habits related to the leadership lessons or the mindsets that we've shared, or they might simply be making your meeting rhythm habitual instead of ad hoc. But whatever you do, it's key to establish and maintain these great leadership habits over the long term. Which leads me nicely to a practical tool that you can use to assess what you need to do better as a leader. And this is what I'm going to send out to you later. So this pulls everything into one. And for each of the 8 abilities on this wheel, you're going to rank yourself from 0 to 10. 0 being terrible, which none of you are, I'm sure, to 10 being outstanding. So starting at the top, you've got the ability to foster trust in relationships. So consider the things that you do to build that strong relationship with your team. Do you take time out to engage with each team member and take a genuine interest in their well-being and interests? Do you take the team out for lunch? What about catching up with each of the team members individually over a coffee to check in how they're doing? So score yourself out of 10 for that. You don't need to do it now. I will send this out and you can have a proper play with it later. And then next, moving clockwise, we've got being able to influence and being open to being influenced. So how well do you listen to understand rather than listening to reply? Are you curious and open to hear others' people's opinions? Do you implement others' suggestions and praise them for the resulting process? Do you share new learnings with your team? And then we've got being able to take risks and confront reality. So part of this is being vulnerable and admitting your mistakes, recognizing that mistakes are an opportunity for learning. Do you look for opportunities arising from difficult times? Do you have a courageous conversation when they needed to be done and proactively look for potential risks to mitigate? And do you take time out to reflect, plan and work on your business, which I know can be really hard when you've got a lot of client work to do, but that is also really important too. You've then got allowing others to learn from mistakes. So do you recognise opportunities to delegate and encourage others to stretch? Is your work environment where one team member feels safe trying out new things and sometimes making those mistakes? If your culture reflects this, then your team will be more inclined to innovate and find better ways and just try things, and they'll become more confident as well to admit if they've made that mistake and proactive enough to remedy it to everyone's advantage. As a leader, one of your key roles is to deliver results. So what do you do to ensure that you do deliver those results for your business and for your team? Do you set realistic goals and actions, or do you have regular meetings to help dissolve your team's roadblocks and reduce bottlenecks? Do you keep business on track? How do you keep the business to keep? I can't even get my words out. Sorry, it's a very early morning. Do you keep the business on track to achieve the regular goals? Next, you need to be able to clarify your expectations and motivate your team, and communicate. Obviously, it is key. Communication is key to effective leadership. So, do you undertake regular performance and goal setting sessions with each team member? Is your team engaged? Do you make sure that their roles play to their strengths and allow them to develop their skills? Then, how do you rank your ability to keep commitments and extend trust? So can people rely on you to say you'll do what you'll do? Yeah, I did say that right now. Can your people rely on you to say what you say, to do what you say you'll do? Do you stick to meeting schedules and avoid cancelling where possible? Have you got an open door policy so that your team feels comfortable interrupting you and asking for help? And then finally, do you create transparency and inspire confidence? Do you have documented core values, and do you live into those core values? Do you regularly recognise strengths and good work? And do you give people the credit they deserve? So as a leader, your success is a direct reflection on your team's success and achievements. So here's an example of what your leadership wheel may look like upon completion, and it allows you to see what areas you need to focus your energy on to create better results. And I've just had an idea going through this, maybe because I know we're quite critical of ourselves, and sometimes we don't see our own, I don't know what the right word is there, but we don't always see our own downfalls either, or where we're not quite there. So maybe if you're feeling brave, it's be good for an employee to do this on you, so you can get their feedback if you're feeling brave, obviously. Cool. So our aim today was to share some of my learnings, some of my lessons I've been through, and to help you take that and implement some positive changes in your business. So what are your next steps from here? I would say, firstly, write down your 3 most important actions as a result of attending today's session. And I know I've probably gone through it really quickly. I will send out the recording so you can watch it again at your own pace. But you've already invested an hour of your time, so make sure that you commit to at least 3 actions. We've shared lots of key leadership lessons today, so it's important to ask yourself how you stack up against those lessons. As I said, I'm going to send that tool out to you, so it'd be great to do that. And if you want to share it with me so I can help, then please do so. Having a clear plan, as I've said before, is one of the most important leadership tools for you and your team. So this plan needs to be articulated to your team. Share your business purpose and your vision, and 3 to 4 key goals that you want to achieve. And then your team can align their personal development plans to your plan. And this enables you to then focus on what you can do, as opposed to worrying about what you can't do, what's out of your control. So of course we're here to help. So here's a few ways that we can help you. So obviously I'm going to send out that leadership self-assessment worksheet with the recording. Business planning is obviously quite a fundamental framework for improving all the leadership areas we've covered today. So especially for clarified purpose, vision and values, right through to planning and that goal alignment with your team. So that's something we can help with. We're also able to offer leadership coaching, where we can go dig deeper into each of those spokes on the wheel and actually help you to become the leader you want to be, basically. And of course, free meetings, we're always open to the first chat for free. So please do let us know if you want to have a chat about how we can help. I not seen any questions come through on the chat. There's nothing in the Q&A. If you have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat box or to message me after and I can answer them. I know there's a lot to take in, so if you've got any questions, feel free to message me. That's totally fine. So I am going to let you go in a minute. So just before we do go, I just wanted to share this parting thought with you. The leader is one who, out of all the clutter, brings simplicity, and out of discord, I can't even say that when discord, harmony, and out of difficulty, opportunity. So I know everyone's super busy right now, and some of that business will be clutter. Yes, me included. So make a plan that will bring simplicity and focus into your life. Share that vision and your plan with your team so that they can align their goals to yours. And by working together, we can turn difficulty into opportunity. And if you need our support, then we are here for you, of course. So thank you very much for coming today and making the time. I appreciate your time. It is very valuable. As you leave, hopefully, if I've got the tech right, fingers crossed, there should be an exit survey. If you wouldn't mind filling that in, please, that'd be really helpful. We are continually trying to improve, so any feedback, constructive or positive, is greatly appreciated. And of course, any other webinar topics that you'd like to see from us. So I hope I've given you some ideas to ponder over and some clear next steps for you in your business. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you on a masterclass soon. Thank you and take care.